Alright everybody, I hope you're doing well. Today I've got a fun little video showing you two of my heaviest AKs. Both of these are produced in 2021, and I will go ahead and have you take a look at them. I've sort of, with parts that I've had or like a few new things, I have been able to cobble together some pretty neat guns, and I think you might like or be able to take some inspiration from them. What I have here is an Arsenal Bulgaria SAM7SF, so the side folding stock. I pretty much left the back end stock, so the ambi safety is the same one. The rear sight I changed into an aperture, and a lot of people poo-poo that, but I really like them because this one in particular, because the elevation, if you're looking at it, the notch is cut at a certain elevation. That's what you lift up to line your front post up at, right? So where that top of that elevation is on the rear sight is now just a circle, so you put the notch in the middle of the circle, and it's super easy. It's just like an AR. It even kind of blurs out. So I really like that. Super easy to pick up on targets, and because it's opened up like a circle, now you can see on either side of your target. So I'm able to not just aim at the belly like you do, traditional, like you aim at the belly and it hits the chest. I can actually like see what's on either side of my post, so it's a little bit of an advantage. Really easy to install. It doesn't take anything off the gun. You just put a new sight on there. You even use the old slider. So I added a Russian gas tube cover, which is sort of one that I just had. I've had a bunch of these because I really thought they were cool. Got them on a number of guns. I just really like them. An AR Bulgarian railed handguard. It's got tri-rail, so rail here, and one underneath, so I can add a vertical grip or an angle forward grip or something. But this is handy because I can put a flashlight, and I just need to find a good flashlight to put on there. Now the front end has a really cool flash hider, which I had been looking for a long time, and Gunbroker had them listed through KVAR, but KVAR was getting roboted, or had a robot working to outbid every time you put a bid in for one of these. It would outbid you, or like some customer would be doing it. Somebody was roboting the bid, the auction for these, and then just upselling them on an adjacent bid auction, I guess. So these are the AR M1 flash hiders. They're the Bulgarian military sort of flash hider. They allow you to use a there you go, a bayonet. And what's cool is they are an effective flash hider for the 24 by 1.5 millimeter left hand or right hand thread pitch, which is what this SAM7SF has. The AK-74s have a similar thread pitch, and so I was able to get a flash hider, and not that 74 break, which is a good break. It just, the flash hider is a little bit more usable for like a combat role. So it's a flash hider, but what was happening was that the auction was getting roboted, and there was an adjacent auction upselling the flash hiders, and there's only a certain number of them imported. They're not listed on KVAR anymore. They're just auctioning them. So I called, me and my buddy, Go Vrumison. We we started bidding on the ARM ones through KVAR's auction, and immediately both of us were getting bid out by like $1 every time. Like every time we would bid, it would go up $1, and we would lose the auction like immediately. So we knew it was a robot. So I contacted KVAR and said, hey, can I just buy one from you? And they're like, yeah, okay. And then they took the auction down and relisted the items. So I'm not really sure. I'm never going to use Gunbroker again. I really don't like Gunbroker as a website. There's a lot of just extortionists on that website. But it was nice to know that I could contact KVAR and just get one that I needed for the gun, Now it is sort of an AR M5 clone, and the AR M5 is sort of a derivative of the SAM7 or this milled receiver Bulgarian that is been picked up by a couple special forces units. I think the Indian Army just bought a bunch of them, and I know that NATO uses them as military aid. So it's pretty neat that this is a civilian version or non-machine gun version of that gun. The AR M9 and AR M1s are both like a similar milled receiver gun, but the AR M5 is a 7.62-39 with the flash hider and the railed handguard. I think there's actually a over-the-top rail system that they have for it too, but this one has a scope rail, so I'm fine with it. Like I said, it's got the cool ambi safety, which is nice, and it's, you know, it's easy enough to use your fingers. So I really like this gun, and especially the way it is now, I'm very happy with it. I'll flip this around, do some gymnastics here. Okay, second gun I want to show you, it's one I'm really excited about because I love Serb guns, is this. This is a ZPAP M70 with a chrome line barrel. I've done a few modifications to it, and all this stuff I kind of had laying around, except for this rail. This is a M72 RPK buttstock. It has a cool serial number in it. It does not have a cleaning kit hole, but that's fine because it's a cool RPK stock. I had an old Yugo grip with the lines. I added a enhanced safety selector, so now I can take my safety off and on just with my index finger. It's really handy. And all I had to do was, there's sort of a bevel where the disconnector is and where the safety in there. If you've ever seen an AK safety taken apart, the safety's on the side, the part you grab, and then it sort of comes out at a 90-degree angle, and there's this little square bit that hangs down. Sometimes it has a little tab, and it prevents the trigger from releasing, basically. So that little square panel that sticks down on the original Serb safety has a bevel on the front of it, so kind of like a chisel, and that allows enough space for the little paddle to go up against the disconnector. And so what was happening was, with this one, it was not quite going far enough forward, so this wasn't able to get up all the way. The little detent on this wasn't able to pick up over the top and like sit in its little cutout, so I had to bevel the front of that little square panel that sticks down and hits the disconnector. And now that I did that, it's seated flush, so it's perfect now. Really simple modification, took like 20 strokes with a little jeweler's file, and it was like perfect. So now I got a really cool safety. These handguards are from an underfolder grenade launcher variant, whatever the AB2 or whatever the M70s and the AB2 and all that stuff kind of gets lost in translation for me. The underfolder grenade launching Yugo AKs. So you can see where the spigot was sitting all the time, and where the underfolder was latching all the time. So it's pretty neat that these have that sort of provenance, that they were on an underfolder grenade launcher. I know they were fairly common, but it's pretty neat just to see the marking from what it's, because it's a very distinct area where the spigot was. The barrel on this is chrome lined, and the flash hider that I have here is a Tabuk style flash hider, which I really like. Very, very neat. And I may in the future do a modification to this by welding a little bayonet lug onto the front sight block instead of onto the gas block, for two reasons. I don't want to add any more stress, heat stress, onto this, because this is a pressure bearing part. This, this captures the gas and forces it into the action. This up here does not, and with this flash hider, the bayonets fit like that, so that's almost perfect. I do have a Yugo bayonet which would go on this, so I may modify this by TIG welding a bayonet lug onto the front sight base, which would be pretty neat. Nobody else has one like that, which would allow me to use a bayonet. But yeah, if I don't, it's no big deal. Oh, another cool thing, this has some trench art or something. Triangular hit it, because right there's a little chevron. I can't, let me, right there. But other than that, I just greased and oiled the crap out of this gun last night while I was doing the modification to the safety. This is a Serbian Zastava scope rail, and I have a Holosun 510C optic on here, and I'll go ahead and show you this. There's no battery in this optic at all, but it's very handy. With the higher comb on this buttstock, I'm actually able to get a fairly comfortable sight picture. I know it's just underneath of a cheek weld. It's not quite a chin weld. It's not quite a cheek weld. It's pretty nice actually. And with this rubber here, it's very sticky to my shoulder. It's really nice. But I'll go ahead and show you this optic, because let me see if I can. Yeah, there it is. So really neat. There's no battery in this optic right now, and it's still running because of the cool solar panel. I really like this setup. Very happy with the way this is. I can't wait to shoot it. Yeah, that's all. But what's neat is these Holosun type, or these reflex style sights, these red dots really do allow you to shoot with both eyes open, especially the circle dot. It's really convenient to be able to just put a red mark on whatever you're looking at with both eyes open and just go to town. So that's this sort of Tabuk Serb tactical AK. This would have been like 80s tactical if they had these sight options. But yeah, it's really neat. The way this mounts is pretty neat. It's got this big throw lever right here, and it just goes all the way across. It's really, really cool. And the fact that it's made for this gun is pretty neat too. The Zastava logo is on there. But yeah, oh, I keep this little dust cover on the optic. It just helps it not get dusty. Yeah. Oh, another cool thing that I really like is this has a sling loop right here, which is just a neat little feature. It's kind of distinct to the Serbs and some Chinese AKs. But yeah, hope you enjoyed hearing about these two really heavy ass AKs, because both of these weigh like a pound at least more than a regular like stamped receiver AK, because this one's like an RPK receiver and it's got like a bulge trunnion. The barrel trunnion is reinforced because they grenade launch off these type of guns, and this one's a milled receiver, so it's automatically just a little bit heavier. But yeah, say hello to my little friends. I hope you enjoyed this neat little video about some mods I did to these two guns. I really like these guns, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe it gave you some ideas on how to make sort of more usable AKs without, you know, going all aluminum tactical, because I want as lightweight a gun as possible while still getting, you know, force multipliers on some of these guns. And especially the Serbian gun, it's sort of hard to do that because there's a few aftermarket parts, but like I don't want a big aluminum rail on the front of my gun. Like the most railage I want is like this one has a polymer rail underneath and two little small aluminum rails. They're like 2 inches long. It just allows me to put a flashlight on it. That's more than enough. I don't need a big long rail out to the end of my gun. I just want to have, you know, flashlight or a little grip or something. This one is just fine with the wood. I may even get laminated furniture for it. I know there's a couple of sellers who do sell laminated Yugo stocks and stuff. I just thought it'd be cool to put my old surplus battlefield stuff on this from the Balkan conflict. This buttstock was off an M72 RPK that was just never ever issued, and then chopped up for parts. I'm going to be building it with a triangle stock and like a spike bayonet, and a 16-inch barrel. So yeah, that's these two guns. Do the cool pose again.